Okay.
And we are live. We are live.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Alrighty. I'm setting up a goal. Start goal. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Doug. Doug. Hi, everybody. Hi, how are ya?
Jesus Christ, my hair. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I did not look at that. And the camera's crooked? What the fuck is going on right now, Valent? Valent? What are you doing, dog? What are you doing?
What's the plan for today, Malone? Right, we're going to cover the news, yeah? We're going to do a little bit of news coverage.
Brother, fuck you, Jack. My fucking hair looks like crazy right now. I don't know. I gotta wet my hand a little bit. And fucking a little bit of this. A little bit of this. Maybe a little bit of this. A little bit of this. We gotta get that down there. We gotta get this up there. That there. What the fuck is going on? Are we cooked? Yeah, we're a little bit fucking cooked, chat. All right, hold on. I gotta go brush my hair. I'm gonna grab my hairbrush. Yeah, take care, Bushy. Take care, Bushy. Luigi, stop it. She ain't stopping it. I feel like I made it worse. I feel like I made it so much worse. Right? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Your mother's a whore, Jack. I'm just kidding. Waluigi! Yo, what a rough start to a fucking stream, right? What an absolutely brutal start to a live stream, huh? Alright, I don't give a fuck how my hair looks. We got news to cover. We've got news to cover, such as Caroline No Lip Levitt giving a press briefing. Caroline No Lip Levitt giving a press briefing. It's time for the news. Hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti broadcast. I'm your perfect and humble leader. And, the news. It seems like things are only escalating. The Marines that have been, the 700 Marines that have been deployed to Los Angeles, they don't have a mission. Why are you so quiet? Do you want me to beat you senselessly? I'm kidding. How do I feel now? How do I look now? How do I sound now? Mr. Beans. Hello. Hello. You want to say hi? Come here, mister. Oh, baby girl. Baby boy. All right, go ahead, Beanie. Luigi, what the fuck are you crying about? Oh, Beans is hunting weeds. You guys want to see? Oh, Jesus. I got $50 on Beans. I got $50 on Beans for that fight.
Just turn your signal up, jabron.
Me? You want me to turn up my volume? Am I too quiet? Am I too quiet? Am I good?
Am I good? Am I good? Yeah.
Let's get to it. I'm Chris Valenti. I'm your perfect and humble leader. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Costs you nothing. It helps me immensely. Let's see what No Lip Levitt had to say. When did she take the fucking stage? Let's see.
Fire in Los Angeles, California in recent days is shameful.
Perfect hair, by the way. Get the fuck out of my face. Don't gaslight me.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you all.
It's a fucking class.
What we have seen transpire in Los Angeles, California in recent days is shameful. Left-wing radicals waving foreign flags viciously attacked ICE and Border Patrol agents as well as Los Angeles police officers. These criminals injured police,
Thanks, Amanda.
threw rocks at police cars and officers, burned vehicles, shut down freeways, and lobbed Molotov cocktails, all because the Trump administration was removing violent criminal illegal aliens from the city.
That is not why. That is not why. Fact check number one. The reason why people are pissed off is because ICE is hiding their identity, kidnapping people off the streets, no fucking warrants, no identifying themselves, no badges, no nothing. And on top of that, they're not getting violent undocumented criminals. You guys fucking snatched all those up in the first week because you gave ICE a daily quota of 1,800 people per day. Come hell or high water, you said you got to deport 1,800 people for... Motherfucker, you got rid of the violent undocumented criminals in the first 2 weeks. Then you started moving on to the reggies, okay? Be so fucking for real. Thank you for the $2 donation, Jerry Dubois. Yeah, were you in theater ever? Yeah, I've been in theater. I've been an actor like my whole life.
Were aimed not just at law enforcement, but at American culture and society itself. Rioters burned American flags, chanted death to ICE, and spray-painted anti-American slogans on buildings.
Yo, real talk though, her makeup artist hates her, right? Her makeup artist must fucking hate her because what is this?
But President Trump will never...
Also notice she's wearing the cross today, which means she's about to do some fuck shit and she needs the power of Christ on her side.
Never allow mob rule to prevail in America. The most basic duty of government is
Jack,
to preserve law
I do not like you.
and order.
I'm kidding, I love you.
And this administration embraces that sacred responsibility. Democrats like Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass shamefully failed to meet their sworn obligations to their citizens. They didn't have the courage to do the right thing and protect law-abiding Californians from rioters. That's why President Trump deployed the National Guard and mobilized Marines to end the chaos and restore law and order. The mob violence is being stomped out. The criminals responsible will be swiftly brought to justice. And the Trump administration's operations to arrest illegal aliens are continuing unabated. When the initial immigration enforcement actions took place on June 6th, Mayor Bass took to social media to say she was deeply angered by what has taken place.
Yeah, because you didn't ask permission, you didn't consult with the governor, you didn't let any of the California leadership know that you were sending in an ICE tactical unit to go and fucking raid the streets with M203 grenade launchers like they're invading fucking Kandahar. Come on, No Lip Levitt, come on!
Mayor Bass then embarked on one of the most outrageous campaign of lies this country has ever seen from an elected official.
I can think of one other elected official that ran an outrageous campaign of lies. And frankly, I'm gonna end the war on day one.
Blaming President Trump and brave law enforcement officers for the violence. She accused heroic American immigration and customs enforcement officers targeting illegal alien murderers,
Heroes don't wear masks.
rapists,
Fuck, Spider-Man.
and pedophiles of, quote, sowing terror in communities and disrupting basic principles of safety in our city. Around the same time, Governor Newsom claimed that immigration enforcement actions were causing chaos. That's how radical Democrats have become.
Alright, so now they're claiming Governor Gavin Newsom is a radical. Bro, they're so fucking dead-ass gearing up to arrest his shit.
Their opposition to President Trump has forced them to side with illegal alien criminals in their communities, and violent rioters and looters over law enforcement officers who are just doing their jobs.
Just doing their jobs. Where have I heard that before? Have you guys ever heard I was just doing my job before? I think I heard that before. It was back when I took a trip to Nuremberg.
Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom fanned the flames and demonized our brave ICE officers. Instead of defending their city and their state, Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom claimed that in order for the riots and the violence to stop, ICE needed to leave and immigration raids must end. In other words, the position of the Democrat Party is that the federal government is not allowed to enforce our laws and to arrest and deport illegal alien criminals. They're attempting to use a violent mob as a weapon against their own constituents to prevent the enforcement of immigration law.
Brother, you are the ones using it as a weapon. You are the ones deploying 700 Marines. We haven't done that since like fucking 1992, dog.
This is deeply un-American and morally reprehensible. President Trump received a clear mandate from voters to reverse the illegal invasion ushered in by Joe Biden's open border and to end the lawlessness represented by Karen Bass in Gavin Newsom's California.
All right, so now they're saying that California represents lawlessness and that Gavin Newsom represents lawlessness. You have to understand that everything that the Trump administration does, like, you got to remember, they may be evil bastards, but they're not as stupid as you would think. They're playing chess. They play moves in advance. And this is why I said months ago, right, that the reason why they keep on saying this is an invasion at the southern border, this is an invasion, right, was because they were gearing up to use this Insurrection Act of 1807, which can only be deployed if you're being invaded, right? Thing is, that was written about, like, the fucking Brits and the Canadians and the Mexicans, like, actually sending in their fucking military. It has nothing to do with immigration. Regardless, they are laying the groundwork now to actually arrest Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass, which would be the first example of Trump actually arresting his political opponents. That will scare the absolute fuck out of every governor, whether they're Republican or Democrat. You know, that's just something that, you know, that is a dangerous step into a dictatorship.
President Trump promised to carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history, and left-wing riots will not deter him in that effort.
Let me turn her up a little bit.
Sanctuary cities and states will no longer be allowed to shield illegal criminals from deportation.
Is that volume better?
Just take a look at some of the illegal monsters who were taken off the streets in Los
Time
Angeles.
for the propaganda
in recent
list. Time for her to give us a list of the fucking worst people she could find a picture of.
A Vietnamese national, a known gang member with a conviction for second-degree murder. A Mexican national with convictions for child molestation who was armed with a dangerous weapon and had previous arrests for robbery and domestic violence. A Filipino national with convictions of rape, assault, burglary, and theft. A Mexican national convicted of statutory rape, narcotics violations, and hit and run. A Nicaraguan national with convictions for domestic violence and hit and run and a previous arrest for willful cruelty to a child. And an illegal alien from Mexico who was arrested after allegedly throwing a Molotov cocktail at law enforcement officers during the Paramount riots on Saturday. He is now being charged with attempted murder. Law-abiding American citizens do not want these public safety threats living in their communities, no matter what Democrats like Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom may claim. And let this be an unequivocal message to left-wing radicals in other parts of the country who are thinking about copycatting the violence in an effort to stop this administration's mass deportation.
That's not us.
You will not succeed.
Thank you for the 4-month donation, Nelson. If only we had historical references and studies that would, so that this would never happen. Oh, wait! Yeah, no, these fucking people don't learn from history.
Any lawlessness will only strengthen this president's resolve to defend the majority of Americans who want to live their lives peacefully, free from the fear of violent, criminal, illegal aliens. As President Trump said, order will be maintained and illegal aliens will be expelled from our country. In economic news, the latest Consumer Price Index inflation report came in today below expectations again. Since President Trump took office, inflation has come in below economics expectations every single month. Core inflation held steady and remains at the lowest level since March of 2021. Wage growth remains strong. The average private sector worker is on track to see their real earnings increase by around $1,200 adjusted for inflation. And prices continue to fall for everyday Americans. Energy prices fell from April to May. Gasoline has fallen each month since President Trump took office, down 12% over the past year. And prices for meat, poultry, eggs, and fish are all down from April to May as well. Under President Trump's strong leadership, America is beating Joe Biden's record high inflation crisis. And once the One Big Beautiful Bill passes, our economy will boom like never before.
Literally nothing she just said is true. Like, not even kidding. The price of eggs is not down. The price of gas is not down. The price of fish and meat is not. Do they not think that this shit is, like, accessible? What the fuck are we talking about?
This bill is the largest tax cut for middle-class Americans in history.
That's also not true.
One Big Beautiful Bill gives a 15% tax cut to working Americans and families. We'll see increased take-home pay of $10,000 per year. The One Big Beautiful Bill expands the child tax credit to $2,500 for more than 40 million American families with children. And the One Big Beautiful Bill cuts taxes for overtime workers, saving them nearly $2,000 per year, and ends taxes on tips, saving tipped workers nearly $2,000 per year as well.
Not true.
All of these provisions are broadly popular with an overwhelming support from the American people. We need Republicans in Congress to finish the job and send the One Big Beautiful Bill back to President Trump's desk for his signature as soon as possible. With that, we'll get to questions. I'm sure you have many of them today here in our new media.
Thank you for the $10 donation, Avocado. All this screams Trumpelstiltskin is scared. He did not think that there would be much of a fight from the public. This is his make-or-break moment. If this fails, he's cooked. Thoughts? Yes, this is 100% what it is. Trump is extremely afraid. But not only that, Trump wants to allocate as much power to the presidency as he possibly can, right? And one of the best ways to do that is to let the left sort of paint this picture of violence so that he can declare martial law. If you think that he would ever get rid of the powers that he gives himself, you're out of your fucking mind, right? Trump is not the type of guy to gain power and then give it up because it's the right thing to do.
His seat is Elizabeth Mitchell, the White House correspondent for the Daily Signal, who's not afforded a seat in this room, but today she is. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Caroline. I have two questions, if that's okay. First, a few Republicans on Capitol Hill are suggesting that President Trump scale back deportations, even as ICE is reportedly gearing up for raids in 5 more Democrat-led areas. Would anything dissuade President Trump, and would he consider sending in Marines if anti-ICE violence occurs in these cities?
Well, I think I may have just answered both of your questions with my opening monologue. The Trump administration is going to continue the mass deportation effort that the president promised the American public. Many of you were at those rallies in cities and communities across the country when the president spoke about his commitment to removing violent illegal criminals and anyone who has broken our nation's immigration laws from American communities. And God bless our ICE and Border Patrol who are working hard on that effort. This administration is going to continue that. And it's part of the reason we do need the One Big Beautiful Bill to pass as well, may I add, because the bill provides funding to hire more ICE agents and Border Patrol agents, more personnel on the ground to conduct this important public safety work.
Thank you. And on another topic, President Trump has indicated that aides to former President Biden who used the auto pen to sign major orders and pardons should be investigated for potential crimes. Does he think that Biden allowing, or at least being negligently unaware of this activity, was an impeachable offense?
I haven't heard the president.
Who the fuck are these new reporters asking questions? Because this is like this is just blowing smoke up their ass. These are barely fucking crazy. These are such softballs.
Address whether it's an impeachable offense, but it could perhaps be a criminal offense, especially on behalf of staffers who may have been utilizing the president's signature without his authority or consent. I understand that Republicans on the Hill are moving in the right direction to call attention to this and to bring in some former White House staffers who clearly knew more than they ever shared and never addressed with the American public. And so we look forward to seeing where this investigation continues, and I know the Department of Justice is also looking into the matter as well. Alex, good to see you today.
Good to see you, Caroline. Thank you. You mentioned foreign flags being blown during these protests. There are protest activities being organized for this weekend. Part of it are Democrats saying they want to reclaim the American flag. It's also being titled No King's Day. Does the president see himself as a king, and does the White House expect to see American flags being flown during these protests this weekend?
The president views himself as the president of the United States of America. This is a constitutional republic, and we want to see all of our citizens be proud of the country in which they are given the privilege and the blessing to live.
Then fucking do the right thing. Also, what do you mean given the privilege to live in? I was born here. You didn't give me the privilege to live here. Go fuck yourself.
And I think that those images of foreign flags being waved with by illegal criminals and by violent rioters in the face of cars blowing up and of flames in the city. I have photos of that here to show you. With this violence and destruction that occurred, is an image that Governor Gavin Newsom owns.
$10 donation. I asked a bit ago, but you were looking at your phone. How long do you think until it all goes to shit? I think June 4th. I think on Saturday. Everything is going to hit, all shit is going to hit the fucking fan. Dead ass.
This is his city, and President Trump saw these images, and he said that is not going to be accepted or tolerated, and hence why he deployed the National Guard and United States Marines who have helped to quell that violence.
If I can ask another.
Sure.
If the president does end up deploying any National Guard members, perhaps Marines, to blue states, would he be in contact with the governors prior to this?
Better
would it
be.
Necessary?
Well, President Trump was in contact with Governor Gavin Newsom despite some of the claims he's made in the last couple of days. The president called the governor on Friday evening and told him to let law enforcement in California do their jobs. And the Los Angeles Police Department, by the way, are fantastic people. They are trying to do the work that they've so bravely signed up to do, to enforce the law. But they have been kneecapped by incompetent Democrat policies and Democrat politicians who do not allow their local law enforcement to correspond and coordinate with federal immigration authorities. And so the president gave Gavin Newsom a warning and said, get it together. 24 hours later, we saw more images like this. We heard about Border Patrol agents who were being...
Fucking printed them out. Bro, she fucking printed them out.
The target of rocks. These illegal criminals were throwing rocks at our Border Patrol and ICE agents, and so the president made the decision to federalize California's National Guard. Stephanie.
Thank you. Two questions on the China trade deal, if I may.
Sure.
First, will the president formally sign the trade deal, and if so, when? Secretary Lutnick sort of alluded to the fact that it might be in a couple of days, but I'm curious if there's anything more specific to read out.
Sure. Well, I do have more specifics for you. I spoke to the president about this. He spoke to his trade team, who did a fantastic job negotiating this on behalf of the United States and meeting with their Chinese counterparts. The president is talking to them about the details of it now. But what the president heard, he liked. China has agreed to open their markets to the United States separately of this deal. And when it comes to this deal, we're going back to the terms that were agreed upon in Geneva for the release of some of those critical minerals and the magnets from China to the United States. And we have agreed to fully comply with the Geneva Agreement as well. So the president is reviewing the details of that with his trade team now, and you'll hear more from him, I'm sure.
And then the second question, on tariffs, Secretary Lutnick suggested that the tariffs would remain unchanged with China. I'm wondering if there's any room for them to negotiate even lower, or if this is the floor.
I won't get ahead of any further negotiations. We're in a great place right now, and I would add that this is the result of a lot of hard work from the president and his team, and the president has a good and respectful relationship with President Xi, and as you know, they had a direct conversation which led to this success that the president announced on Truth Social this morning. JJ.
On North Korea, has the president tried to resume dialogue with Kim Jong-un? There's some reporting that the president sent a letter and tried to give it to Kim Jong-un through some North Korean diplomats through the UN, and they declined to take it and send it to Kim Jong-un.
The president remains receptive to correspondence with Kim Jong-un, and he'd like to see the progress that was made at that summit in Singapore, which I know you covered in 2018 during his first term. As for specific correspondence, I'll leave that to the president to answer. Sure.
Good afternoon. Yeah, thanks. Back to the trade deal negotiations with China. Jimmy Lai, as you know, is a pro-democracy advocate, Catholic, sitting.
Guys, you don't ban anybody unless they are racist, if they are anti-Semitic, if they say some fucked up weird shit about like kids, or if they're spamming in the chat. This is not supposed to be a fucking echo chamber. You don't just ban people because they say, oh, I love her. If that gets you banned, then what is the point of doing this? What is the point? We're trying to turn people. We're trying to get people to understand. You can't just ban people for coming in here and saying shit like that.
In solitary confinement in Hong Kong as we speak. His family believes he may be close to death. Did his name come up, Jimmy Lai's name come up in these negotiations with China?
Not to my knowledge. I understand the negotiations were very much focused on our trade and economic relationship with China.
Does the president believe he can free Jimmy Lai from prison?
I'll check with the president. It's certainly an important issue, and I'll get back to you.
Thanks, Caroline. The president said yesterday that paid insurrectionists were behind or involved in the protests in Los Angeles. Does the White House...
Bro, the only fucking paid insurrectionists are the fucking federal agents who are embedded into the protests, reporting on the movement of the crowds, burning their own fucking vehicles and breaking cars and windows.
have any more details about who they believe is paying these protesters?
The president spoke about this last night when he returned from Fort Bragg, because frankly the president has a lot of common sense. And if you look at some of the imagery that we have received from the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and law enforcement who are on the ground, you will see boxes and boxes of very professionalized masks and rioting equipment being dropped off for these protesters. So it's a good question the president is raising, and one we are looking into, about who is funding these insurrectionists and these...
ICE has been raiding New York all fucking morning, bro. I was just in Harlem. I was talking to a bunch of Dominicans. Bro, motherfuckers are leaving. People are horrified. The Dominican community is leaving. We're not talking about undocumented immigrants. We're talking about documented legal immigrants. They're grabbing all their money, they're selling all their shit, and they are leaving the United States. They're like, we know what happens. We know what's coming. It is, yeah, they're there right now, bro. They're everywhere.
These rioters and these protesters and these illegal criminals. And I have updates for you on the numbers, by the way. Since June 6th, there have been 330 illegal aliens that have been arrested as part of these riots in Los Angeles. 113 of those illegal aliens had prior criminal convictions. And overall, and this includes arrests...
By the way, we're going to get to it soon, but last night, dude, they did mass arrests in Los Angeles. They put a curfew in downtown LA, 8 p.m. They said anybody and everybody outside after 8 o'clock p.m. in downtown LA is under arrest. And they started doing mass arrests with the helicopter flying over going, "You are all under arrest." We're going to cover a bunch of that later.
Of American citizens, there's been 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction-related charges, including the attempted murder of a police officer with a Molotov cocktail. So who is funding these illegal aliens who are coming in with this very professional riot gear? It's a question everyone in this room who cares about truth should be asking. And we encourage your help in trying to get to the bottom of that question. Indina.
Thank you, Caroline. About Elon Musk,
Sky King, I actually do think if you wore that hat, that would genuinely be impersonating an ICE agent. That I genuinely don't think that's legal.
Issued an apology this morning. Has the president accepted the apology, or does he think it's too little too late?
The president acknowledged the statement that Elon put out this morning, and he is appreciative of it, and we are continuing to focus on the business of the American people.
And has the administration started a review of Musk's government contracts, something that the president said he's considering?
What do you mean by that?
Has the administration started a review of the contracts that Musk and his companies currently have?
No efforts have been made on that front as far as I'm aware.
Okay. And just one more, if I may, on just everything sort of we've seen so far with the president's response to the LA protests. There is criticism that seems to suggest that the president responded the way he did because it was a deliberate, calculated attempt to sort of shift focus away from his feud with...
Put Twisted in the corner for half an hour.
Musk. How would you respond to that?
The president responded to the LA riots, condemning the violence to...
from Musk.
That's an incredibly disingenuous attack. The president saw images of Border Patrol and ICE agents being hailed with rocks and Molotov cocktails. He saw vehicles being burned to the ground with illegal aliens flying foreign flags, and that's what prompted the president to have this response that has clearly worked, because last night in Los Angeles, you didn't see many of those images. And I would add the governor and the mayor need to actually do more. I know Gavin Newsom had a big address to the nation last night. I guess he thought that's what it was for maybe his future political ambitions, but he spoke a lot of words. We haven't seen action. California has been a mess for years because of the incompetence of Gavin Newsom, so the president was responding to that only. Caitlin.
All right, enough of No Lip Levitt and her fucking dog shit reporting. Let's see what King Doland has posted on Truth. Where should we start? start with the morning. A federal appeals court has just ruled that the United States can use tariffs to protect itself against other countries. A great and important win for the U.S. The incompetent governor of California was unable to provide protection in a timely manner when our ICE officers, great patriots they are, were attacked by an out-of-control mob of agitators, troublemakers, and/or insurrectionists. Make America great again. What is this? Hi, Luigi. Oh, you want... Here you go. Bro, the fact of the matter is that there are so many people who would love this. So many fucking people in our nation would love this. All right, what else? Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me. Full magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied up front by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities, which has always been good with me. We are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. Relationship is excellent. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Brother, this is why they say taco. This is why they say you always fucking chicken out, dog. You put 145% tariff on China, and now it's down to 10%. Meanwhile, they're tariffing us 55%. Brother, I thought you were bitching and moaning this whole time about reciprocal tariffs. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Why did Trump win the popular vote? I'm wondering. My opinion? My opinion is because we have a terrible education system in the United States. I think that like 77 million people voted for Trump, but I truly believe about 120 million people in this nation are wildly uneducated. I also think that Trump had a better campaign than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris's campaign was absolutely fucking dog shit. Like, if Trump had to run against somebody who was competent, like if Trump had to run against anybody other than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, I don't think he would have won. What do you think they say about the rigged election? I mean, there's certainly something happened in Rockland County. There's a reason why there's already an investigation. And I think they're doing a recount in September for Rockland County. Do you dislike Harris? Yeah, I think Kamala Harris is a dog shit candidate. I think she's a fucking neo-lib. I don't like neo-libs. She tacked to the right. She said we got to build a wall. She didn't have a primary. We didn't choose her. She was just pushed in because the Democratic Party fucking refused. Joe Biden refused to step down, and the Democratic Party has no fucking balls, so they wouldn't force him down. And part of this is because I truly believe the plan. Hear me out. Kamala Harris's campaign was dog shit. And I truly believe it's because Kamala Harris never thought she was going to have to run a presidential campaign, right? Reason being, if Joe Biden wasn't leaking his brain out of his ears, if Joe Biden was reelected and then he got cancer like he has now, or he got sick, or something like, and then stepped down for any sort of reason, she would have become the president, the first female president, and there wouldn't have even had to have been a vote. You know what I mean? It just would have happened that way. That's what I genuinely believe they wanted. And then suddenly they let Biden go on stage, debate Trump. His brain was leaking from his ears. He looked like a fucking fool. And the whole world was like, Dude, even I said this. I was like, I would vote for Trump over that. That guy's a fucking corpse. But they had to put in somebody, and the thing is, they pushed through fucking Kamala, which is insane. Okay. Oh, hold on. If our troops didn't go into Los Angeles, it would be burning to the ground right now, just like so much of their housing burned to the ground. Why does he keep bringing up the fucking fire? The fire's got absolutely nothing to do with this. The great people of Los Angeles are very lucky that I made the decision to go in and out. Here, Texas is deploying the National Guard? Yeah. Texas decided to deploy it. You know what that is? What is that? Governor Abbott? He is scared that Trump is going to do it and federalize his units. So what Abbott is doing is deploying the National Guard preemptively to be like, see, mein Führer, I'm falling in line. I'll kiss the ring. Because if you don't deploy the National Guard, Trump will federalize your units and turn them into the army. You have to understand, guys, all of the National Guard units you're seeing in California are now the army. They are officially federal troops. They have been federalized. I know it says California National Guard on their shield, but they are no longer National Guard units. They are officially the army. Lag as hell? My bad. I don't know. Oh, I know why. I got a Google Calendar invite. Oh, hold on, guys. My physical... Hold on, I gotta respond to this text. All right. Adding to the China readout, President Xi and I are going to work closely together to open up China to American trade. This would be a great win for both countries. CPI just out, great numbers. Fed should lower 1 full point. Would pay much less interest on debt coming due. So important. Fuck is this?
We have a great military. There's no woke in our military.
So
Get
loud.
rid of that.
Yeah.
Getting rid of woke in our schools.
Why is it so loud? And I'm losing frames. Thank you for the 2-month sub, Nat. What do you think is going to happen after the first shot is fired? All pandemonium. I'm losing frames. I wonder why.
What do I do? Yeah.
I doubt there will be lethals used. Oh, there's absolutely gonna be lethals used, bro. You think the fucking Marines are trained for this? They're not. The Marines are not trained for crowd control of American citizens. The Marines version of crowd control is a fucking M240 Bravo, okay? You understand? We're losing frames. Terrible. Trust me, they are trained. No, I'm telling you, they're not. I have so many friends in the Marines, and also experts across the fucking nation agree they're not trained in this. What? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what does that say? I'm sorry, what? I apologize. What does that say? Let me reiterate. Huh?
All right, President Trump out of Fort Bragg in North Carolina there, kicking off celebrations for the Army's 150th birthday. It's coming up this Saturday. Trump announced he is reverting now names of several bases that had previously honored Confederate leaders. Former President Biden had renamed them after what his administration called social justice warriors. Let's bring in the perfect person to talk about this. Mike Sorelli, he's a retired Navy SEAL. Mike, what do you make of the restoration to the previously named bases under the current president?
Who gives a fuck?
You know, that is part of our history. Thank God that President Trump reversed it. Us as veterans still responded to it or referred to it as Fort Bragg or Fort Hood, so this is much needed. I'll tell you this, Gillian, in my 20 years, I've never seen a military audience more electrified than yesterday. It was almost the return of Eisenhower. We've never seen morale at its highest because of this administration.
Take a listen to President Trump making the case for his decision.
A lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change. And I'm superstitious. You know, I like to keep it going, right? I'm very superstitious. We want to keep it going.
So, you know, he says it's superstition. What do you make of that?
It's part of our history. He understands that. The Trump administration has respect and values our military as well as our history. And he understands the purpose of our military and our service members. So this was seen and heard by our current military forces, and it's well received. So again, I applaud the president for making this decision, regardless of what the naysayers will say. If they haven't served, quite frankly, I don't care.
He also, as you know, is sort of ordering this massive parade to celebrate the upcoming birthday of the Army on Saturday. A lot of folks here in Washington excited, planning to attend that. We're going to have special coverage right here on Fox News. What's the reaction to this among folks on the ground?
Gillian, I'll tell you this. I have more friends, Army brethren. I served in the Marine Corps and the Navy. Was saved more than I can count times by the Army. I have more friends hanging out to D.C. to take part in this celebration. The Army has defended our freedoms in our nation. They've answered the call for over 250 years. While this may fall on President Trump's birthday, this is about our military service members. And so this is a great celebration, long overdue to have these type of parades, so that our public can see just the disciplined uniformed services that we know.
Did my frames come back?
Something totally different. This caught our eye. The Director of National Intelligence
I'm going to put the alert box
of
back on, see if I lose frames now.
Annihilation. Take a listen to Tulsi Gabbard. Want to get your response.
Hold on. It is the fucking alert box. I'm telling you. It's the alert box. I swear to God. I turned off the alert box just now, and now we're good again. I think. I don't know. I'm gonna lose my shit.
As we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation, than ever before. Political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. We must reject this path to nuclear war and work toward a world where no one has to live in fear of a nuclear holocaust.
What do you think about that?
First off, I'll say this. I know, Tulsi, we could not have a stronger woman, a leader and representative of this nation sitting in that DNI seat. Both President Trump...
Hold on. I gotta fix my fucking computer real quick. I'm losing far too many fucking frames. This is unwatchable. This is unfucking watchable, isn't it? Oh. Whew. All right, I'm going to try pulling it up again. Give her a second to load. Give her a second to load. Audio's been static. How about now? Audio better? Still losing frames, I think, though. Luigi, can you stop it? For fuck's sake, baby. The audio is phenomenal. Thank you. All right. Pull up YouTube, lose all my frames. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There go my frames. 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 Here goes my frames. There go my frames. Here goes my frames. All right, never mind. We're good.
Secretary, probably won't surprise you, but I'm going to start with Ukraine. And I'm going to ask you a serious... Secretary, probably won't...
Dude, Mitch McConnell is a corpse. Give this a second to buffer. Mitch McConnell is a fucking corpse, guys. How the fuck could Palantir possibly be good? How could it possibly be good to create a database that has every single American's information, all of it compiled into one? How in the name of God could that possibly be good? Explain that to me. Explain that. Come on. I'm curious. I gotta know. In case he's being a troll. Oh, I don't know. I mean, sometimes some people actually believe in that. You gotta understand, man. A lot of people believe that shit. More data, more good ads. Okay, no, he's just trolling.
Secretary, probably won't surprise you, but I'm going to start with Ukraine. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions, but I don't want you to linger on any one of them, but answer the series of questions in one answer. Number one, who's the aggressor and who's the victim in the conflict?
Russia's the aggressor.
Which side do you want to win?
As we've said time and time again, this president is committed to peace in that conflict. Ultimately, peace serves our national interests, and we think the interest of both parties, even if that outcome will not.
I gotta restart my computer, guys. I'm losing way too many fucking frames. This is unwatchable. Absolutely. It's unwatchable. It's fucking brutal. I fucking hate my goddamn setup so much, bro. I hate my setup so much. Dicks. Dick butts. Let's build a PC. I don't want a PC. I want a laptop, bro. Something that I can travel with. Dick butt. Now you guys are posting dick butts. I'm fast as fuck. I'm too fast for my fucking frames. That's what I am. All right. Give me a second. I'm going to restart my stream. I'm going to